My Name is Bruce is a movie starring Bruce Campbell, playing Bruce Campbell, directed by Bruce Campbell. Some folks might consider such a premise self-indulgent or even masturbatory. To them, I would simply say, shut up, Bruce Campbell's talking. For those of you unacquainted with his chinliness, Bruce Campbell is best known for his role in the Evil Dead franchise, one Ashley J. Williams, Deadite Slayer extraordinaire. These films gained fame, or infamy, depending on your perspective, for largely two things: their shoestring budget and their gratuitous use of blood, guts, and over-the-top violence. But beneath their patina of viscera, there lies something more substantial. The directorial style of Sam Raimi got the attention of Hollywood, thereby allowing him to work on what some people would call real movies, collaborating with the Coen brothers on the Hudsucker Proxy and directing the first wave of Spider-Man movies. He brought his buddy Bruce along for the ride, giving him cameo roles in as many films as possible. But for the most part, Bruce Campbell was seen as an afterthought, just kind of Sam Raimi's friend, and aside from these brief roles in his pals' blockbusters, was relegated largely to low-budget schlock. My Name is Bruce is a love letter to said schlock, simultaneously deriding these movies for their low production value and applauding them for their ability to garner a small but dedicated fan base, and then deriding that fan base. The plot is as paper thin as they come. Some teenagers awaken the ancient Chinese entity Guan Di, the god of the dead and also the protector of Beancurd. The only person that can save the town? Bruce f***ing Campbell. The production value is as middling as they come. Just enough special effects to keep it from being a home movie, but a far cry from a Marvel endeavor. The sets are budget, as is everything about this movie, but they are assembled with care and attention is paid to detail, allowing them to really capture the podunk nature of the town of Gold Lick. As for the location, it was shot in Oregon, literally in the backyard of Bruce f***ing Campbell. The acting is honestly pretty good, particularly for a movie like this. There are some cameos from Evil Dead alumni.
You know, they go to all the trouble to kidnap somebody. I'd have kidnapped that Jake character from Evil Dead 2.
My money had been on that blacksmith from Army of Darkness. Now that's one stud.
You're damn straight.
Most notably one Ted Raimi, playing 3 different roles. But for the most part, no one else in the movie has any sort of acting credentials. Even still, the entire cast understood the assignment and conducted themselves appropriately. Sure, there aren't any impassioned monologues or emotionally resonant exchanges, but there isn't really a need for such things. All of the players in this production are essentially window dressing for, you guessed it, Bruce f***ing Campbell. So what's the big deal about Bruce f***ing Campbell anyways? Sure, he has a chin that lesser men would kill for. He spouts off one-liners of the highest caliber. His hand is sometimes a chainsaw. But at the end of the day, he's kind of just a character actor, isn't he? From Sam Axe to Ash Williams, every role that he plays is kind of just a different shade of Bruce. Sure, I will cede the point that Mr. Campbell...
First of all, kid, Mr. Campbell makes soup. My name is Bruce.
Sorry, sir. Bruce. I will cede the point that Bruce is kind of a one-note actor, but I will make the case that this note is very, very good. Every character that Bruce plays is kind of a macho, cocky tool, spewing forth alpha male malarkey to the closest member of the fairer sex.
Consider yourself officially exempt from my wrath, sweet cakes. And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
Give me some sugar, baby? Please. Coming from the mouth of any other human on the planet, these 4 words, said in an attempt at courtship, would be a fast-track to Pepper Spray Town. Hail to the king? What does that even mean? Groovy? Who says groovy? Who are you? Disco Stew? Any other person saying any of these things would be lame and cringy. But when Bruce says them, I don't know, it just hits differently. I would make the case that this is because, as much as he is saying and doing cool guy things, he's also just as much the butt of the joke. I have an axiom that I use and it goes as such. In order to be artsy, one must also be fartsy. Meaning that if you're going to have a work that is the pinnacle of pretentiousness, it would be best practice to throw in a fart joke, so the audience can suppress their urge to shove you in a locker and steal your lunch money. In regards to Bruce, I'm gonna adjust this axiom slightly. In order to be cool, one must also be a fool. There's no shortage of cool guys doing cool guy things in action movies. Look at your Arnolds, your Stallones, your The Rocks, and so on. These muscle-bound meatheads show up on screen and audiences know that they're going to save the day. They are invincible, aspirational figures that can literally never lose. Seriously, there's apparently a stipulation in The Rock's contracts stating that any character he plays is not allowed to lose a fight on screen. He is contractually invincible. Can you imagine such a thing in a Bruce Campbell contract? That would certainly be more ruinous to any such film than a lack of funding. Let's look at the original Evil Dead movies. I promise I'm not glossing over Ash vs. the Evil Dead or the remakes, but we'll get there when we get there. Ash spends the bulk of the runtime of every movie in this trilogy getting his shit kicked in. This would make sense in the first two films, as they're assuredly in the horror genre, but Army of Darkness is absolutely an action movie, and even in this film, he's losing fights more often than he's winning them. For every pit fight scene, we get a doppelganger scene or a graveyard scene. Ash isn't this impervious action guy. He isn't smart or even all that courageous. He's kind of an idiot, but in the most endearing way possible. And when we hear our beloved idiot say some macho malarkey, we don't roll our eyes at him the same way we would if Vin Diesel was saying the same thing. We don't move past these lines the same way we would in any other action movie, where they would just be another item in the laundry list of cool guy things that are said and done by cool guys. We revel in these moments because they're juxtaposed against all the other silly things that have just happened on screen and all the silly things that will happen on screen. Ash says cool guy things, but he is not a cool guy. He is a buffoon, but he is our buffoon, so we imagine that he's cool, and we keep imagining this until we actually start to believe it. Along this line of thought, the type of action movie antics that Ashley engages in are decidedly less than serious. They are silly, goofy, Three Stooges-esque bits of physical comedy that are more reminiscent of Tex Avery than Texas Chainsaw. That isn't to say that they aren't bloody, because obviously they are, but they're cartoonish in nature, rather than earnest depictions of violence. This allows us to suspend our terror and just have a good time, without losing sleep over the horror of having to chop off one's own hand. This juxtaposition of self-deprecation and cool guy quips is what makes Bruce Campbell stand out on screen. What makes him groovy, if you will. Because as much as everything that I brought up is using Ash Williams as a template, these things are also applicable in some capacity to all of Bruce Campbell's roles. Because, as his career progressed, the line between Bruce and the character that he's portraying on screen has become more and more blurred, until now, it's almost impossible to separate the two. Case in point, Ash vs. the Evil Dead. As portrayed in Army of Darkness, Ash is an idiot, sure, but he's not the degenerate that he is throughout Ash vs. the Evil Dead. This aspect of the character is ripped straight from the pages of the My Name is Bruce script. The dive bars, the trailer, the mild substance abuse, all of these things were first done to Bruce Campbell before they were ever applied to Ash Williams. And as a result, the distinction between the two characters has all but evaporated. Bruce Campbell is Ash Williams, and Ash Williams is Bruce Campbell. No one will ever be able to replace him, and no remake would be complete without him. Look, I haven't seen the Fede Alvarez movie in quite some time. I haven't even seen Evil Dead Rise, because honestly, why bother? I'm sure they're solid enough horror movies, and if they had been called something along the lines of gory cabin horror movie, I probably wouldn't write them off as much as I currently do. But they're called Evil Dead, and that means something very specific. It means blood, it means guts, it means over-the-top gore, but it also means comedy, and that is something that the TV series really understood, and something that seems to go over the heads of the remakes. Evil Dead exists in potentially the most niche genre of all time, splatstick. Splat meaning the sound that fake blood makes as it impacts any given surface, and stick meaning goofy, Three Stooges-inspired physical comedy. From my recollection of the remake film, what I saw was all splat and very little stick. I missed the mark when it comes to the genre fusion that is Evil Dead, and in the process, lost the magic that is the franchise. It's not that I hate the film, but I don't know. It's just not very groovy. What's groovy is making a movie with your friends. What's groovy is working with what you have and making something magical. Something that people for generations will come to resonate with. Even if that thing isn't cool or popular or, good, it doesn't matter. It's your thing. It's a manifestation of your vision, your sense of humor, and your personality. It's authentic. It's sincere. It's